Gali Morathi. Adventure level 15. Dwarf, Calcuttin. Okay, do I gotta be the one to ask this? Rebus asked in a whiny tone. What the fuck are we supposed to do against ghosts? The Western Wasters have been suffering from success ever since we reported back to the Venerator's Bureau. We hadn't skimmed on the details, and the Bureau had even investigated and confirmed what they could. This gave them the impression that they should give us all of the strange jobs that other hunters couldn't quite figure out. Unfortunately, they seem to have a backlog of weird missions and have been running us ragged ever since. Our entire winter had been spent in the countryside, solving mysteries like we're goddamn detectives or something. Every single quest thus far has just been normal shit causing weird shit to happen, hoaxes, or an easily killed monster that the locals hadn't heard of before. We've been so busy that we'd even leveled up a bit, and we'd been finally assigned a job that didn't require us to leave Talokam. We had been asked to investigate reports of a haunted manor on the outskirts of town. Marco and Rebus had argued against taking the job, but the bartender had quickly upped the ante to 1 gold piece. That, combined with the fact that the job was to investigate and not to exterminate, quickly changed their minds. Sort of. There ain't no such thing, I replied. And even if there is, we just have to use stabs, slashes, or spells to get rid of them. And what if none of that works? Duh, we run. I don't like ethereal shit, Marco muttered. That's too damn bad, I replied. You took the job just like we did. I, for one, am excited about what we might discover, Ephraima added. First-hand accounts of spirits are rare. We might even be able to publish our experience. The reason that first-hand accounts are rare is because they don't fucking exist, I growled. Keep your damned heads on your shoulders. It's probably just bugs or something, Hino agreed. It's the season for the giant beetles to start looking for mates. Fuck, Rebus spat. That might be worse than ghosts. Hate bugs. While we were away, the Venerator's Bureau had received several reports of strange sounds coming from the manor at odd hours. There had also been disappearances around the manor, but those had stopped. Of course, the previous owner of the manor had been a deranged noble who had tortured and killed several people, so the townspeople weren't exactly keen to peek their heads in to take a look. There it is, I sighed, as the manor came into view. Let's get this over with. Can we just pop our heads in? Rebus asked. I really don't want to be the one to discover the ghosts are real. No, Ephraima and I said in unison, for vastly different reasons. Fucking bitches, Rebus grumbled to himself. If I die, I'm going to hold the hells out of you. I'll take that risk, I growled, because ghosts aren't fucking real. Even from the outside, it was obvious that the manor was in a very dilapidated state. However, it was also apparent that it had been very impressive before it was abandoned. As we got closer, I noticed that some of the gold and silver trim had survived. That's not a good sign. Marco pointed at the trim. Even the fucking looters don't want nothing to do with this place. We paused in front of the manor and got into formation. I waited patiently for Rebus and Marco to finish preparing their gear, but it was soon clear they were stalling. Hino and I met eyes, and I sighed loudly. Fucking useless, I said, pushing past them. Come on, Hino. Let the clockers hang back so they don't piss themselves. I walked up to the front door, and just as I was about to turn the handle, a crash came from within the manor. Hino pulled me back a step, and I drew my bow to cover him. He slowly turned the handle, then flung the door open and ran inside. Ephraima and I followed close behind him, but Marco and Rebus had to run to catch up. The interior of the manor wasn't as dark as it should have been. The hole in the ceiling played a large part in this, but the candelabras lining the wall had been lit. We stepped further in, and I heard a scraping noise down one of the side corridors. Who goes there? I shouted. It's Camdam, a voice said from the hall to our left. Who? Wait! Customers? An excited plopping noise that I recognized as bare feet running on stone flooring sounded from the hall. It was a very disarming sound, but I kept my bow raised. Suddenly, a massive Kobold appeared from around the corner. Customers! It said. Wait, weapons? Why weapons? Robbers? Holy shit, Rebus muttered from behind me. No way. We're not robbers, we're adventurers, I explained, as the Kobold hefted a pike 4 times my height. We were tasked with investigating the source of some odd sounds coming from this manor.
Ah, makes sense,
the Buckable said.
We's not opened yet, so customers would be weird. Robbers would be weird too, but you sure you's not robbers?
What would there be to rob? Mako asked.
Our store. We sell stuff, or gonna do when we's opened.
Wait, who's we? I asked.
Us kobolds. Answer question, tiny one. Are you robbers or no?
No.
Oh, good.
The Buckable sighed in relief.
Too many of you. Might have died. Good fight, though, probably.
Undoubtedly, Mako said, eyeing the creature up and down. So, kobolds are turning this abandoned manor into a store?
Yeah, we is. I should probably get Little Lord. He likes talking to adventurers. You ain't here, yes?
Sure, I said, lowering my bow and shrugging. The Buckable nodded and ran back down the hallway. We stood silently for a moment, digesting our discovery. Kobolds, opening a store, in the dwarven town. Hey, Rebus said, breaking the silence after several moments. Do you think that these kobolds are the same ones that The pattering of several pairs of feet interrupted him. I fought the urge to raise my bow, and before long several kobolds appeared alongside the same Buckable from earlier. One was wearing a crown made of fish skulls and various leaves. It took one look at us and jumped with excitement.
You guys!
It exclaimed.
It's my friends, the Western Wasters.
In all of my years as an adventurer, it never once occurred to me that I would one day recognize a kobold. It also never occurred to me that I would run into the one kobold that I knew by name within a supposedly haunted manor that was previously owned by a serial killer. Needless to say, I was shocked into silence. Most of my comrades felt the same, but Rebus was the type that could remain talkative, even with his jaw removed. Ha! No fucking way! He said. Simeeth! Is that you?
Yeah!
The kobold started bouncing.
Why are you guys here? You wanna buy stuff?
Buy stuff?
Yeah. We making a store.
You're making a store in this manor? I asked, recovering some of my sense.
Yeps,
Simeeth beamed.
We's gonna sell stuff to the dwarves direct like. No need to wait for caravan.
How are you getting the stuff from your dungeon to this manor? It's a few hours away, isn't it?
Hidden tunnel. Some elves helped Hinfrey find it.
Elves? Hinfrey? My confused glance toward the other kobolds caught one of them waving at me in a bashful manner. It was the same manner in which a young girl with a crush would wave, which only served to deepen my confusion.
Yeah, Hinfrey and the elf were talking about mushrooms, and they finded the hidden tunnel from the dungeon to here.
Simeeth grinned.
Now it only takes a few minutes to get to the the city. Working on that word.
Wait, Mako interjected. Hold on. You mean to tell us that there's been a connection between the town and a dungeon that has housed both a master vampire and a lich?
Ow! Town way better word than shitty. City.
Simeeth replied, then paused and rubbed his chin.
I guess you're right about tunnel, but you friends with the law, so that's not bad, right?
Well, yeah, but... The massive orc trailed off and looked at us for confirmation of his sanity. Rebus and Hino shrugged, but I was trying to decide which of my many questions to ask next. The disappearances were probably due to the vampires, and the kobolds probably wouldn't know anything about that. The noises were obviously the kobolds trying to convert the manor into a store. I finally thought of a question that I didn't have the answer to, but Ephraima beat me to it. What do you plan to sell? Our elven mage asked.
Bunch of stuff. We got some of the stuffs that the caravan wanted, plus stuff that the caravan didn't wanted, and stuff that the elves traded.
Simeeth paused and turned to one of the other kobolds.
What did the elves traded? Their party of adventurers from the elvish lands exchanged coinage, and their caravans have been exchanging cloth, fur, and preserved foodstuffs, little lord.
The other kobold explained.
I'm afraid we cannot exchange the foodstuffs, though. Why not? They are quite delicious. So? We are eating them far too quickly to sell them, little lord. Yeah, okay.
Simeeth turned back to us.
We also got weapons and handmade goods. Baskets, bracelets, things like that.
By those above, you lot are going to open a general store in a haunted manor? Rebus sighed.
What's haunted mean? The word typically refers to a location that is host to the undead, little lord.
The other kobold answered.
Undead?
Simeeth cocked his head.
Like the lord? So, our home is haunted?
The other kobold trailed off, appearing to have an existential crisis for a moment. Yes, little lord. I suppose our dungeon is technically haunted.
There was the suckers too. They were undead, right?
Yes, little lord. If it helps, haunted usually means ghosts, Rebus explained. The kobolds, who had been giving each other looks of discomfort, turned to stare at Rebus in unison with their heads cocked. It happened precisely enough that it could have been mistaken for a military maneuver. Then the big Kobold sighed and shook his head.
Ghosts not real, tiny one, he said. Even hatchlings know that. Don't be mean, Camdam, Simeeth scolded. He just telling jokes that we don't get. He knows that ghosts not real. Right, Rebus? You know ghosts not real, right? Tells him you know that ghosts not real.
Rebus stared at the kobolds and then glanced at us. When his eyes met mine, I grinned wider than I'd ever grinned in my life. His glance turned into a glare. I do not wish to discuss this matter any further, he grumbled.
But you know they aren't...
No further, Simeeth.
Rebus, friend, people die all the time everywhere.
Simeeth spread his hands.
If ghosts was real, they would be all over the place. There would be more of them than us, yes?
Rebus treated Simeeth to a cold stare and remained silent. Marco shifted uncomfortably and rubbed the back of his neck. I, to my credit, did my best not to laugh uncontrollably.
We should set Rebus's childish worldview aside for a moment,
Ephraima said with a mean chuckle.
Have you obtained the proper trade permits to operate a store, Simeeth? We got the paper thingy from the caravan,
Simeeth said.
They said it was super important. Is that what you means?
Ephraima and I shared a nervous glance.
Maybe, she said. Would it be possible for me to see it? Yeah, Camdam, you fast.
Simeeth poked the extra-large Kobold.
Go get paper thingies, please. Yes, little lord,
the Kobold said with a bow. Kobolds are on average slightly larger than a well-built orc. Camdam, however, was even bigger than Marco, yet the speed at which he disappeared down the corridor was enough to set me on edge. I wasn't the only one. The five of us stared, stunned at where the Kobold had been only a moment before. It took a few moments for the shock to wear off.
So,
little lord, Hino asked.
Yeah? Simeeth asked in return.
Oh, no, I mean, what does it mean?
What does what mean?
What does little lord mean?
Oh, it means little lord,
Simeeth shrugged nonchalantly.
The lord is going to teach in the unified chiefdoms. The tallest chief invited him too, and he really wanted to, so he put me in charge of kobold developmentals and care.
When will he be back? I asked.
I don't know,
Simeeth sighed sadly.
He has been gone all winter. His paper said that he might be back to check on us after summer, though.
Ah, I'm sorry to hear that. I briefly heard the pattering of feet, but before I could recognize the sound, Camdam was already standing beside Simeeth holding a scroll. Simeeth thanked the Kobold, took the scroll and offered it to Ephraima. She immediately unfurled it and began to read. A moment later she let out a sigh.
This is what I was afraid of, she said. This document grants you the privilege of trading with an intermediary. So, is not a trade permit? It is, just not the type you need. There's different kinds of trade permits?
Both shock and confusion became apparent on the kobold's face.
Oh my, yes. Yours allows you to sell in bulk to any merchant registered with the town. The permit that you require, however, would allow you to set up an area to house and sell goods. There are also permits for temporary vendors, like street stalls or a travelling caravan, as well as permits for importing and exporting goods from outside of the Empire of Calcutta.
I think they may need that last one as well, I added.
I don't think so, Ephraima shook her head. Their residential address lies outside of the town borders, so as long as they're accepting the imported goods there and transporting them here via the tunnel, they shouldn't require an import permit. So, can we get the permit thingy?
Simeeth cocked his head.
Maybe. If I recall correctly, every type of trade permit requires an endorsement. The Venator's Bureau endorsed this one, so they might be able to endorse the kind of permit that you need too. But there are two potential issues that I can see.
What are they? I asked.
The first will be the ownership of this manor. If the rumours surrounding the building are correct, it's most likely owned by the Talaka municipality. The town will likely have been trying to offload this property for quite a while, so if we suck up to the proper people, we'll be able to buy it for dirt cheap.
However, if someone else owns it, we'll have to hunt them down and try to convince them to sell it. We'll have to take care, otherwise they'll try to fleece us. I see. And the second potential issue? Well, the trade permits require signatures from all parties involved. It looks like Larry signed this one, so I'm guessing the formalities were taken care of in the dungeon. To get the proper permit to open a store, though, we're going to need to jump through some bureaucratic hoops. Which means we have to do this in the Capitol building. I sighed. Yes, Evrima nodded. And we're going to have to take Simeeth with us.